Welcome to Entrepreneurship is Not for Everyone, the podcast where we talk about the real experiences behind building a business. Today's guest is someone whose journey reflects two qualities that matter deeply in entrepreneurship: resilience and integrity. Melon Perez is the co-founder and creative director of MelRish Studio, a Dubai-based photography, videography, and content studio she built with her husband Arish. But beyond the business itself, what stands out about Melon's journey is how she navigated difficult moments with honesty, perseverance, and the willingness to start again when things didn't go as planned. And that's exactly why I wanted to have this conversation with her. Because in a world where many people are questioning whether this is the right time to build something, the real question might be different. Is this the worst time to be an entrepreneur, or is it the most important time? Melon, thank you for guesting in my podcast, and thank you for letting us use your podcast studio.
Thank you for inviting me as your guest. I'm so privileged and honored to be part of this podcast.
Actually, you're one of the people I really look up to, and everyone knows how your brand is and how your online presence has been and how you tell genuine, authentic stories of yourself. And I remember during my very low moments in 2024, you were there and we talked a lot about how you overcame, when you were in the same situation as me. So that's why you were really one of my top people to guest in the podcast. So thank you.
I'm glad that my story resonated with you.
So we're back now in this situation where there's a lot of uncertainty happening. And right now, the biggest question in people's minds is it really the right time to be an entrepreneur right now, or is it the most important time? And we know the answer, right? But anyway, before we get into all the geopolitical, economic uncertainties that's going on now, which is going to be the core of our podcast, which is relevant also to what's happening now, I wanted to ask you, for the benefit, of course, of our listeners, how did your journey start? Of course, I already have an idea, but just for the benefit of the listeners, maybe you want to tell us about how you started, because it's also a very inspiring story.
Thank you. All right, so let me start in 2009. So we just got married, me and my husband, and we were starting a family. I'm very entrepreneurial since I was a child. I have always dreamed of owning a business. And so 2009, we had the opportunity of borrowing money from the bank. Our combined salary was actually that time 11,000 dirhams, and then the bank was giving us 500,000 combined, so like 250,000. So I said, like, this is a great opportunity for us to start a business. And that time also, there's a plan for a global village, like a full year global village mall, like an air conditioned mall, like near the global village, like an extension of the global village. And we were offered spaces, and then we said we quickly grabbed, because I love Global Village. I love growing there, and I thought it was a real opportunity for us to open a business. And that time I was my background is interior design. I've worked with Marina Home Interiors, and I said, like, I would love to bring Filipino home furnishings here. And I said I had this crazy idea of, like, that time, because in 2009, but there was still no Filipino street food. And I said, like, I'll bring Filipino street food here in Dubai. And I called it Manila Connection. So patented pa rin. I'm joking. So we booked 3 slots. So one was supposed to be that Filipino street food. The other one is home furnishing. And a third one, a smaller one, was for accessories, like bracelets. That's all made from the Philippines. That was the idea. And then I was also taking, that time, I was taking a course in entrepreneurship with UPOU, Open University. And then I was really like, this is great. And I have the business plan laid out. And then I presented to my colleagues in the office, and they said, like, wow, this is so great. And you already secured the spots, the location. And then they said, like, we want in. So two of my colleagues even gave us additional 90,000, a 30,000, and a 60,000. So we have like 590,000 plus a little bit of our savings. So we were already like ready. And then my landlady, before I got married, I was staying with my landlady, and she became like we became close because I she has a business, and when I was staying with her, she said like, if you give me 30,000, because I said like I have a 30,000 loan. And she said like, instead of investing that, maybe renting out, getting an apartment and renting out the rooms is a lucrative business. So she said like, instead of that, why don't you give me the 30,000 and I'll give you like 7% every month, which was she was giving. She has 30,000 with her, then actually it increased to 40,000, 50,000. So I told her, because we were in touch, like she was giving like the interest monthly. So I told her like, I'm so excited because of this. I told her about the business idea, presented her. I said, like, can we have lunch? I want to see the business proposal, because she's been in the UAE longer than me. She works in a big construction.
Filipino?
Yes.
Okay.
She works in a big construction company. Her husband works in one of the biggest airline company. So they've been in the UAE for long.
Okay.
And she's a finance head, so she knows accounting well.
Yeah.
And she has a couple of businesses, also a cargo business and ticketing business. So she has another ticketing business. So I said like, okay, that's good, because I don't have any business acumen. I don't have business knowledge. So I told her about it, and she said like, this is really good. I'll give 250,000, and then we can be partners. I said like, that would be great, because so you can help me, with finance, accounting, because I don't have background on this. So we did the planning already for that. And then for the meantime, because it's the space is not yet handed over, I'll keep the money, and then I'll give you about 3% of that money. So then at least you can pay the bank like an amount. So because she already has portion of my money previously, and she was giving me the interest regularly. So I said like, you know what, that's a good idea, because imagine 600,000 with her, 660 total now, 600,000 with her, then she's gonna give me 3%. That would help me pay the installment of the loan, because the loan is already, it was already disbursed, and then I already have the cash in my hand. So a few months after, like 3 months after, my mom needed money for operations. But we kept in touch, like we were sending messages. But then it's only once a month we keep in touch, like, because when she needs to give me the money, that's when we talk, like I tried calling her. There's no response. I tried messaging her. She was not responding. So I decided to call her, because she works in the office. So I called her company where she was working, the construction company where she was working. So I called her, and someone answered, and they said like, oh, she's been AWOL for 2 weeks now. So that actually like felt like a slap in the face, and I was trying to call, and went to her house, which is where I used to live in Satwa, and it's all locked up.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So then I was like, no way, like it was of course denial at first. No way is this happening, and then and the only way she communicated was on email, because the phone was already before.
She doesn't have Facebook.
She deactivated it.
Deactivated.
Yes, but she was not also active on Facebook. And she even I checked, all the schools, they don't normally give the like information if the kids are there, but I still tried checking if the kids are still there, but someone told me that they're no longer enrolled.
So they
also
left the UAE.
Yes, because I also deposited one of the post-dated two of the post-dated checks, just for me to get at least an amount, like, so both checks bounced.
Okay.
So I was like, oh my goodness, this is for real. No, this is happening to me, and then I'm like, that means I'm going to get stuck with the 500,000 loan from the bank. And then I owe my colleagues
90,000.
90,000. And then combined salary is 11,000. And I have to pay the bank monthly 13,000 something. I can't remember. It was 13,000 something. So that means we're short of 2,000, plus I need to pay my colleagues, plus what will we eat?
Yes.
And then I found out I'm pregnant, and I'm like, what? So I'm like, it was very stressful, very depressing, and I could not sleep. I'm so full of anger, and I felt hopeless, and I felt like, because, but what helped me is like, that time I kept a Bible with me every day. I kept reading Psalms, and I'm like, David had worse experience. So I said like, that kept me like sane, and that kept me like, there's no point of me you being paralyzed and doing nothing, because I don't even have enough money, because they told me that you can file a case, but they told me like, if you file a case, you need at least 25,000. So I said, I don't even have 25,000. So, and then my colleagues say like, how can you pay us? I said like, what I'll do is I'll try my best to like pay you, even though it's like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a month, but I will.
So how did you manage to get out of that?
In 2008, so backstory a bit, when we got married, we booked a photographer in the Philippines, and then our wedding photos were very traditional, let's say. They don't show the real story. They're not, I mean, it's nice to look at, like the couple photos, but everything was like staged. I did not like it, and I cringe every time I see it because it doesn't depict, it's not me. So I said like, you know what? I attended. I'm not a professional photographer that time. It was not even full. It's not even a passion that time yet. I mean, like, because cameras are expensive, so I don't have even a good camera. So I attended this workshop of this international wedding photojournalist. And I was like, that's the wedding photo that I like. And then we shot our friend's wedding at the beach that time. They just had a very, very simple beach wedding. And I already like to blog that time. So I was writing blog posts. And then I shot another friend's wedding in the Philippines and another friend's wedding. So then I shot 3 friends' wedding because I tried to practice telling stories through photos already. Because I said that I like his style, I like photojournalism, and I like telling stories. And then I told my own story as well. So it became an outlet. Not only that it became an outlet, it became also like people started like noticing our work, and I said like, you know what, I like the way you tell stories through photos. So a couple in India, based in Dubai, but they're getting married in India, said like, we want you to shoot our wedding. It's our first paid client, so they flew us to India. They booked us like 6 months before, and then I shared that, oh, we have our first booking. We did this pre-wedding shoot. Then another couple the same month, like a week difference, is got also getting married in India. So they said like, while you're in India, why can you shoot our wedding also? So that's when I realized that weddings are like my thing, wedding photography.
But all this was sideline at the time.
Yes. So I was employed full time. So, but thank God I was still employed full time. Because that was also, I can remember that I am praying, like we have this loan, and my landlady ran away, and we owe the bank so much. And then it was also that, what you call this? The recession.
Yes.
That was the worst, 2009. And we were sitting in the office, and then the HR would approach a colleague, and they will say like, yeah, today is your last day. And they will just stand there and pack up. And then I'm like, it's like, so every time the HR walks inside the office, we'll be like, I hope it's not me. So, but then we survived that. And so I didn't, so what we did is, what I did also, I said, I cannot afford to get fired. I cannot afford to get terminated. And I cannot afford to be stagnant. So I said, I also worked hard, 9 to 5, really, like, pabibo. I said like, I'd work my heck off, and I will like, I would pray that I'll get promoted.
Yeah.
So
what was your job then?
I was a visual merchandiser
Wow, I
Yeah.
wanted to be a visual merchandiser.
for cosmetics.
Oh,
So I get free makeup, but I did not learn how to do makeup.
I applied, I think, 3 times in Shalom as a virtual.
Oh, really?
But I have no experience. I just wanted to. I said it would be nice to design the shop front, the storefront, right?
Yeah,
For fashion. That was what I wanted.
So it was new to me because the makeup was so boring that time. But then what I learned from that job is we designed not only like how the front store looked, but we were studying which one is a moving item. Why do I mean even the shelf levels, like which item would you put in the shelf level, like what is the shopping personalities, like
So how long were you doing your job and doing the sideline?
5 years. I said
5 years.
yeah, because the bank loan I need to pay.
So for 5 years, you were working full time and doing photography on the side.
Yes.
Was Irish also working full time?
Yes.
So photography was really a sideline.
Correct. Yeah.
At which point did you incorporate your business?
Okay, so 2014.
2014.
Yes. So I
okay.
was after so 2009, and then in 2010 I was like, I told my company I'd quit because I got position. Although it's
Okay.
this, while in 2009, my salary went up.
Yeah. Okay.
Imagine during recession, my salary
Yeah.
still went up because they
You
got
did
rid
your
of,
best.
yeah, no, because they got rid of the whole department and
Yeah.
I was the only one. I'm like, so I need the extra salary because I'm gonna do 3 people's job. So I said
Yeah.
like, so then I negotiated and then they agreed that they'll increase my salary. Then in 2010, I got also another offer and another. I applied, I guess, because I really
Okay.
need, so it's the same salary, but it is a senior position, and it
Okay.
is a American furniture brand. So I
Okay.
said like, so when I shifted there, my salary also went up like. So until before I resigned in 2014, that's the time I resigned because I could not. Number one, I'm debt free. Number two, I'll be like I was so already. I'm busy. It's too much. There's no more work life balance. Like every weekend we already have shoots. Not every weekend because summer is still dry.
Yeah.
Like and on
And
week
you had a baby.
exactly that
Yeah.
time also like my office was in the laundry room of our house. We have a laundry room in our home that time, and then I was like, my daughter was 3, no 2.5, and then I was working. I said like I need to finish my edits. I told her, and then she slept on the floor waiting for me. And I said like this is not anymore really the life that I want. I said like, so I have to choose one or the other. I said like, should I go choose photography? Although I know it's not sustainable. I mean like it's not stable. It's not something that I cannot count on it. When I was looking at the numbers, it's not something that can match my salary because my salary was already like not so much, but it's good enough. Like I don't know if it's not so much right now, but it was so much for me that it's 18,000.
So at that time, it was actually a risk for you to leave an 18,000 job
Mhm.
and then start a business.
that I don't even have
Yeah.
like an average. There's like we don't have business during summer like May, June, July, August, September.
Yeah.
That is like months that we will not have, like we don't normally have weddings because our business that time is still mainly on weddings.
Okay.
We have very little corporate work, and I said like what it's not about the money.
But at which point did Irish also leave? And at which point did you both make it full time?
So 2015, that time their company was going through a crisis.
Mhm.
So he was one of the people who was laid off. And I said like
Okay.
that's a good blessing in disguise because it was also time for you to join me because I already have the business, we were already marketing and we were already having a few regular clients. So I said like I think it's time for you to risk now joining me because then maybe if we join me then we'll have more business coming in.
But that's a difficult decision. Both of you will be dependent on the business.
Yes.
And then you have a child.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that time 2 children because I already
You already had 2.
Yeah. By the time I quit my job, I said like whenever I shift jobs or whenever shift positions or
You get pregnant.
I get pregnant. So I said like
So when you started MelRish, you were pregnant.
Yes. I
Wow,
was like
okay.
that time. So it was like I remember it was 2014. I just recently quit my job and I was like. And I have a shoot at the hotel, and they said like shoot all the facilities of the hotel, and it's a big 5-star hotel with the beach and and I was like walking, and I was like pregnant, and I'm like,
So
it's
you were
hard.
shooting while pregnant.
Yes, although, my first with my first child also, I was shooting a wedding
Yeah.
2 days before I gave birth.
Really? Oh my god.
So, but then this one is I
Yeah.
said like what I said like it's the middle of the day, it's 1 p.m. and I'm shooting at the beach, and this is like. But I said like this
But
is how it is.
like the fact that you paid off your debt, like it shows a lot of integrity, no? Are you
Mhm.
still friends with those old colleagues that
Yes,
you had?
yes, because I paid them off also. Like they
Yeah.
appreciate that I did not run
Yes,
away.
yeah.
I
Have you ever
faithfully-
heard about your landlady or of her?
I
Is she
saw
still around?
I saw her husband on Facebook one
Ah,
time.
okay.
So, but then he deactivated because I messaged him. I said like, when are you
Or he
planning to?
blocked you.
Or maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. Actually, we're not friends.
Ah.
But I saw his post that he was like that time he had a post back in 2009 that said like they were having a difficult time as well. Like like
Yeah, but it's not a reason.
to run
screw
away
someone
exactly.
over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
versus-
what you said about filing a case, I experienced filing a case as well against somebody. And the thing is, you're the victim Yet you have to spend
Yes.
on making a claim, right, against someone, and especially if it's a civil claim, which in your case is it's gonna be a civil claim, right? So I also wonder about that. Like a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there's a good number of people who cannot afford to actually exert their right because they think about, okay, I have to spend
Yes.
before I can actually file a claim, and even though I was the one who lost. And because of that, the people who are actually victimizing, or the people who screw people over, they cannot, like you cannot hold them responsible for what they did. And they will just end up doing it again, which is why with me, in my case, what happened to me, I thought, you know what, if I don't do it, they'll do it again to somebody.
Correct. Yeah.
So
they should
somebody
learn,
has to
yes.
do it.
Yeah.
But of course, it was, and it is still an expensive effort for me to file the case and to keep paying the lawyers and file the legal fees, and you pay a percentage of your claim. So that's why they said 25,000 to you, right? Because you pay a percentage of your claim when you file a civil case against somebody, and then of course you get that claim back when you win. But then it can take time.
Yeah,
but
exactly, the time and the energy and the
Yes.
money, of course, but that we did
Yes.
not have.
But anyway, you've been vindicated.
Yeah,
God
so
took care of
exactly,
you.
yes. Yeah, so I said,
Yeah.
like, if that did not happen, it's a redirection as well.
Yeah.
Like, if that did not happen, I won't have MelRish today.
Yes, yes.
And who knows, like, if maybe we were not ready for business that time. I was thinking also, maybe we're not ready for business that time. Maybe if that did not happen and we pushed with that business, what if we lost everything?
Yes.
Because we were not that experienced and we
Yeah.
were not ready to handle a big business like that.
Yes. But I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And I guess it also helped you, like you said, you're debt free, so if you can survive negative.
Yes, exactly. We started business with negative 660,000.
Imagine that. So when you started MelRish, so it was the two of you, right? I just want to walk me through your journey. So the two of you were full time, you were pregnant, or you just delivered probably by the time
delivered
you
by the time we
resigned.
resigned. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was it? Like, how did you start? Where did you start? Of course, you didn't have this studio yet. At that
Yes,
time.
I know. And I'm like, how we started is also, again, like, it's a matter of, so many mistakes. So we took so I said, like, okay, now I finally quit. Now I'm ready to apply for trade license. Another reason why I also needed to quit, because they were not gonna give me an NOC to get a trade license.
Okay.
I said, like, okay, that's it. And I mean, it was it's also a way for me to really quit, So I looked I looked up companies, business setup companies in the Gulf News. In
Okay.
Channel. And then
So who ended up helping you at that time?
someone I don't know who duped us of money again. Because they said like a ad 36,000 trade license with a virtual desk. So it's like, okay, so and then, but like with all the like, we need extra permit, we need to pay this, we need to pay that, and just a bit more, your trade license will be released, but we need extra this. So I ended up paying 85,000.
Oh my God.
Like that's like all my gratuity. So I'm like,
That's crazy.
and I borrowed money from my parents too. A year after, I said, like, you know what, the virtual desk will not work. It's also best for us to get a
An
real
actual
studio.
office,
So we
yeah.
did get
So where was your first studio?
in Business Bay.
In Business Bay. Where in
Yeah.
Business Bay?
The Burlington Tower. Beside
okay.
now the Anantara.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It was previously Oberoi.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So that's our first
Okay.
studio. We were there for the first 2 years.
And then here.
And then TCOM,
And then
Onyx
TCOM.
Towers,
Ah,
and then
okay.
here in
Okay.
2020.
In 2020, when the pandemic happened. Yeah. So you're very resilient.
I think so. But sometimes you just surprise yourself, but
Yeah.
you don't expect to be. But sometimes because you don't have a choice, but to be resilient.
As an entrepreneur, resiliency is very important, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things that happen that's beyond our control. Like, okay, people can screw us, or we get into a bad deal, or, we have clients don't pay us.
Correct. Yeah.
Among other things, right? Or employees, they do things. So there's a lot of things, but there are other things that happen as well. Like you were already in business when COVID happened, right? You were already in business when the flood happened. And then now, with the geopolitical situation, here we are again.
Again.
I mean, I remember during the flood, your studio had
It was
it
flooded.
had damage, right?
Not this flood.
Oh.
But it was like flood. There were like water all around, but not inside.
Not inside. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So how did you maneuver during the time of COVID? Because of course, who wants their photos then, right? COVID, and then during the flood, and then now.
It's actually like very similar to 2009 when we were in COVID. Like 2019 was our 10th, like I consider 10th year anniversary. I even took the whole team to Tbilisi, Georgia.
Yes, I remember
We had
that.
we called it Decada, so we celebrated our Decada in Georgia, and then 20 with all the Expo 2020 with all the plans, and we had several weddings booked lined up. And we just opened also that time. We just opened our Philippine branch. We had like 4 or 5 bookings. You can't remember for 2020 weddings for 2020, and then we said like, you know what, our office is already too small for us. Let's move. So we booked this warehouse. We signed the deal January 2020, and they said like it will be handed over May, which is perfect because our lease ends in the other office. So it was like very hopeful, the future is so bright. And then suddenly like, boom, March 15. I can remember we had a wedding the day before, and then the next day it was lockdown.
So how did you handle it? How many employees did you have at that time?
14.
14.
Yeah, so 14. And then, so it was first, again, denial. Like, no, this is just going to pass. It's going to be very quick. But then it was like so serious that all our
Canceling.
contracts canceled, all the weddings canceled. They want refunds, and the whole world was like affected. It was like something really serious going on. And then I said to my team, like, I'm not gonna terminate anyone. I told them, but this is our funds are really running low. I cannot sustain full salaries, but we have projects that needed to be delivered. So what I'll do is whoever's working on the project, I'll pay you. And then even if we don't have projects, we'll try to find projects. And then as long as you have money to pay for your rents.
Yes.
Some team members left because of course, you know, they have families back in the Philippines. They're getting anxious. So they said like, we'll leave. So, but that's also like, thank God, kasi I don't have enough money to pay everyone. So, I mean, like, if I have money to pay for everyone after ilang months, how many months can I do that? You know, like,
it's difficult, right? Especially when you have employees. It's one thing if you have a business and you're taking care of yourself and your family, and then you have obligations. But when you have employees, the responsibility is how many employees, right? Like for me, it's a total of 30 plus employees. So I'm not only responsible for them, but also for their family.
Correct.
So I feel like every decision that you make will affect not just you, not just your business, but somebody's life. Not just somebody's lives, but also the lives of their family.
Correct. Yeah. So the guilt is there. So I mean, it's very heavy on the. In 2009, there was no guilt because it's only us, me and my family. But now it was different. 2020 was different because then you have to think about your employees' families also. Like, you know, so. But yeah, you have to make tough decisions because I said like, if we're going to get bankrupt, then you will not be able to help people in the future. You know, like you're not.
So you just have to keep soldiering on.
Exactly. You're not doing anyone a favor if you drain your money. Yeah. But it did drain us. You know, there was like, I think there was a time that I can only now pay 5 days. I can only give 1,000 each. So,
but at least you sustain them.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
Dubai bounced back pretty quick.
Yes.
But that time, probably your international bookings didn't happen, right?
No, we did not even have international bookings until 2 years after.
Until 2 years after. Yeah, I can imagine. At that time, I am around 2019, like all the wedding industry was a full boom, right? Like there's so many, you know, like destination photographers.
Yeah, we
people
did
got married in like different.
We had a wedding in Phuket in 2019.
Wow. But now I think it's more intimate, right? The weddings are more intimate. But do you still do weddings?
Yes, we still do weddings. Yes,
how many % of your business is weddings?
So we actually last year we did only now like 17%.
17%.
Compared to 70% before
so what's
COVID.
the other 83%. I'm not good at math.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now we have like 15% we 20% we do like corporate video production,
Okay.
and then but the majority is corporate events.
Yeah. So you do videos, you do photos as
Yes, yes.
well. So how many percent of videos and photos do you do now?
That's hard to tell
Versus,
because a lot of our most of actually
or
it's
is it like
combined.
a,
It's
yeah,
always most
combined?
of the time
Yeah.
it's always combined.
Okay.
Maybe it's very little, like it's only video only, very like
Yeah.
photo only. But
So
most
how
of
are
it.
you feeling now with the current situation?
You cannot, even though we can say like we've experienced that before. We can say like, okay, we've gone through this before, but you will always still feel uneasy, uncertain, and then you'll still have that, butterflies in your stomach.
Yeah.
Like, what should I do and all this, and like it's inevitable. So it's normal to feel that way. I mean, you're like a stone if you
Yeah.
don't feel like that, unless or you're so like, okay, I have like a trillion amount in the bank, and then this won't hurt me, like.
Yeah.
But to small business owners, small and medium business owners like me,
Yeah.
we'll feel, especially like we had a financial struggle last year, so this is really a very uneasy time,
Yeah.
a difficult time, let's say.
I can imagine. I'm fully confident of the UAE, okay, and what we could do as a country, how our leaders will support us and protect us, and they have shown, and I am fully confident that we, as a country, as a people, will actually bounce back better after all of this is
Mhm.
done. What I'm unsure of is the rest of the world, like how the other countries are deciding, or what they're going to do tomorrow, what they're going to do tonight. So that's actually very stressful for me. Like right now, and I was telling you earlier, I am in between. I'm not sure how I feel. Some days I feel safe, I feel secure, I feel calm. Other days I'm very anxious, I'm worried. And it's not just that. As a mother, right? As a mother, I'm worried about my kids.
Mhm.
And as a business owner, I worry about my business and my employees, about my clients. And because I'm in the business setup industry, I see a lot. That I see, I hear, I get messages, I get calls from clients, right, with about their business, about how they're gonna handle their employees. Are they gonna stay? Are they gonna leave? Um, and actually now as well, the way the media is portraying the UAE is actually very unfair. It's very unfair.
Mhm.
I even read a post, actually not one, several posts claiming that the UAE is paying
Exactly, those
pay, yeah,
those who
paying
post
influencers to post
post.
that. And I was thinking, I also posted the same.
Yeah.
But our company posted the same, but we weren't paid. This is genuinely how we feel, of course, right, about the UAE. But there's, as a business owner, as a parent, there are many decisions that we have to make. Like for me personally, I'm taking my kids out on Friday. It's just like times like this. I'm sitting here and my mind, my heart is somewhere else. I can't concentrate, and we have to make a living. So I'm bringing them to Spain. They'll stay there until things tide over, and until it's time to go to school face to face. So we're not sure if they're opening on the 23rd or they're opening next month. But when they open, then my kids are gonna come back. But for now, I'm gonna bring them to Spain. They're gonna stay there just so I can concentrate on business. Because of course I have to concentrate on the employees as well, on making sure that all the overhead is taken care of. Like for both of us, right? You have this beautiful studio, right? That you have, and of course you have to pay rent. We have to, over the years, we've been dealing with the fear of increased rent. We
Yeah.
have to make sure that salaries are on time. License renewal is up. You still have to pay taxes. You still have to pay. I still have to pay
Exactly.
taxes.
Yeah.
So everything's going on. Everyone's worried. But as business owners, it's more than that. Some industries are not affected, but industries like ours, like yours, right?
Yes.
Now
Yeah.
people are scared. All the events are canceled. most, like
Mhm.
personally in our group, most of them are canceled. So then it will really affect you. The projects are, for us, like being in the business setup industries, we actually rely on investors or people who want to come to the UAE because of the security, the stability, and they just want to start their business here. But
Mhm.
now majority of our clients have been putting their plans on hold. Although there are still some, very few clients who are saying, you know what, let's do it. I have one client actually who he's here on a tourist visa, and it all happened while he was here. So he was here on a tourist visa. He wanted to open his company. That was his plan. So this happened on Saturday. So he messaged me on Saturday when this was happening, and then we went on a call by Sunday. And he said, you know what? I like what UAE is doing. I like how they're handling things. So you know what? Let's do it. So he still started his company.
Oh,
He
good.
still
That's
started
good.
his
Yeah.
company. Um, so he was like the first company we set up for the month of
Mm.
March.
Oh, nice.
So there are still people who are confident in the UAE, just as we are. But I feel like nobody truly understands what we're going through here, or
Mhm.
how much we trust the UAE government unless they actually live here.
Yes. Yeah.
How we've recovered each time as a nation is one story, but then how we recover as a business is another story. So yeah, we have difficult decisions to make in the next few
Yes.
days,
Yeah.
and employer guilt is real, right?
Mhm.
I'm here in your studio. I see that people are coming to work. One of the major things that business owners are dealing with now is, do we work from home or do we go to the office? And there are employees who say, oh, I'm not comfortable. I want to work from home. And you can't blame them, right?
Yes. Yeah.
You can't blame them. As employers, we have different opinions on this. I wanted to know what's yours.
So if they have a capacity, for me, if they have the capacity to work from home, I'd rather them work from home unless you're in a probation period. In a probation
Okay.
period, then you have to work in the
But your
office.
staff, are they all here?
No. No, no,
No.
no. So a lot of them, like we did a 50% cut because, like I said,
Mhm.
we faced
Yeah.
financial struggles last year, and
Yeah.
I will not be able to sustain. We don't
Yes.
have projects. There's nothing
Yes.
to do here in the office.
Yes.
For the production team, it's like no work, no pay. So if you have a
Okay.
project to work on, yes,
Yes.
I'll pay you. But if
Okay.
there's no project to work on, then
Okay.
unfortunately, for
But
the admin staff, that's not critical. I said, like, because of course they still need money
yeah.
to pay for the rent, for the
Yes.
for the living expenses. So I said, like, alternately come to the office,
Yes.
and then same for the sales. And but I
Yeah.
sales, I said, like, it's 50%, but then every sale you close, you get a bigger percentage.
Yes.
So that's what we did.
It's actually a difficult time, not just for us, for many. Even if you go online, you go to Reddit, you go to like these Facebook groups, Dubai Expat, you will see that unfortunately there are people who've lost their jobs. There are people who are, they're on mandatory leave without pay. I mean, there are companies, much bigger companies that can sustain more, but the cuts now in employment are massive, and it's just starting. I mean, every day I pray that we can recover. Well, we will recover, but every day I pray that the geopolitical situation won't
that last
worsen.
long.
Yeah, it won't.
Yeah.
It just can't carry on
Correct.
like
Yeah,
this, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
we have no control. Even the UAE has no control of what's outside of us. We can only control what's within us. So I read somewhere that one entrepreneur posted about this work from home. It's a big question for employees. It's a big deal for some employees, but actually, it's the wrong question, because what employees actually right now should be worried about is about keeping their jobs. So they should
Yes,
help the
exactly.
business.
Actually, like, my team member talked to me after I announced. It's not something. It's not a decision we're proud of. Number one,
Yeah.
because but for us to survive, we have to make
Yeah.
tough decisions that we don't even want to. But
Yes.
so then I told them about the cuts. One of my employees even approached me, said, like, I'm thankful. Number one, because you're not firing us. So
Yes.
at least we know that we still have a job after all
Yes.
this. We can come back to a job.
Yes.
One of my employees went back to India. So she said, like, thankful also that you're allowing us to go back home, and you
Yeah.
have not canceled our visa. So at least once this is all over, I still can come back and have a job. So, and you know what? I think that made me feel better.
Yes.
But I said, like, if we will have 000 for the next 2 months, I will not be able to actually even to sustain
Yeah.
the half month salary.
Even for me, to sit with my decisions, and I will have to make decisions in the coming days, for like what I'm gonna do for now, and what I'm gonna do if if the situation worsens, which hopefully it will not. I just want to share what I read about the work from home. So, this lady, she was saying that okay, work from home, but when you woke up today and you came to work, you went on the metro, and the metro was working. It's because somebody came to work.
Mm.
You took the bus, and you got to where you wanted to go because the
Someone
bus
was
driver went to
driving.
work.
Correct. Yeah.
You go to the groceries and you're able to buy food, or you go on Talabat, a delivery, you order your food, it comes to you because somebody went to work. Now, if we all have that same mentality where you know what, of fear, and we limit ourselves, then the as a society, we're not gonna be able to
function anymore.
function, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So we cannot live with this mentality. But of course, it's understandable at the same time.
Mm.
Maybe the trauma that all of this will give us, we don't really know how long.
Yeah, it affects it.
Right now, like you
Yeah.
and I, we're focused on something else. We cannot even focus on what's
Yes,
happening.
exactly, yeah.
Instead of feeling fear, my emotions are driven by like how do I handle the situation? How do I take care of my family? How do I take care of my pets? How do I take care of my employees? How do I take care of the business? How do I take care of my clients? This is how I feel. Like actually the last person in my mind now is myself. Am I safe? Am I not safe? I just want everyone to be safe first. But at the same time, I want to be able to contribute to the society, to the UAE, because we're here and the UAE created so much opportunity for us, right? I don't want to be the first person to leave because things are bad. Although you do you, right? You do you, but I want to still stay here and contribute to the economy. I still want to be here to make sure that I lead by example. My employees are here, people are working. I have to be here. So I'm taking my kids out, but I'm coming back because I have to be here. My mom left this weekend back to the Philippines, and last week I was thinking of everyone, like your mom. You know, you have so much in your mind. But yeah, we have to, as entrepreneurs, we have to get used to this. I just feel like this is one thing that I have not planned for. I didn't see this coming. I think no one did, right? What we experienced on Saturday was unprecedented for all of us. So I can understand, like if you're new to the UAE, you will feel traumatized. But we have to really focus on just making things work.
Yeah.
As we always have.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Being an entrepreneur, what do you feel right now? Like what else could we do better to survive?
Well, I just came back from a session on cash.
Yeah.
Cash
Cash Day.
Yeah. No, the talk in the
Yeah.
morning in Female Fusion was about cash.
Okay.
And cash is always king or queen
Yes.
in terms of female fusion. So it's really important. I think that was also an eye opener for me because also that was my goal this year. Actually, when 2026 started, I said like my goal, I'm not gonna aim for a million, or I mean like of course that is a good thing too. But profit like a 3-month runway was my goal, like at least to have that 3-month runway for the business.
Yeah.
I said like I never thought about it before. I mean like but because I was thinking about revenue, but the most important thing is profit. So that's
Yes.
most important thing for a business. I mean like when I started business, I don't have any knowledge. But as you grow and as you meet other entrepreneurs and you get their they share their lessons, and then you learn a lot of other things. Then you say like like number one, you protect the cash. That's the first thing. And
You went into another business, right? So while doing MelRish, we set up
yes.
Olivia Pearls.
Yes.
Yes. So how's that been for you? It's more a passion project, right? When it
Yes, well, it's
started.
actually more of like because MelRish is a service industry. And I realized it's hard to really. I mean, like there's a lot of companies who scaled a service-based industry. But I said, like, I want something that is going to be a product. I want to challenge myself, but of course, it was also shiny object syndrome that a lot of entrepreneurs should avoid. But since it's there already, and I truly believe what the brand stands for and why the business, why I really put up that business, because I have a strong belief that this is something different, and it stands for something. It's not just a business. It stands for something. It stands for my belief of authenticity and like of helping also the Philippine economy. So that's there. But yeah, so it's but lesson is don't put up another business. Don't open another business until the other one is stable.
It's stable. Do you have any regrets?
No regrets because it's been a roller coaster ride.
Yes.
And I said, like, you know what, if this works out, I'll be really, really proud of myself. And and I said, like, you know what, once you're in a corner, like in a boxing ring, once you're in a corner, there's no other way but to fight.
Yes. I remember in one of the sessions of EO Accelerator, when we were having our accountability group, our coach asked us one by one, are you doing this because you need it, or are you doing this because you want it? Because for some people, their business is something that they want to work, but they don't really need it. But there are people like us where this business is actually what feeds us, what feeds our family, and of course, everyone else. At the time, I think I'm the only one who answered that I'm doing it because I need it.
Are we in that the same group? Not yet.
No,
Okay.
no. So, of course not.
Yeah, I can remember
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So there's a big difference, and when you when you need it, you'll really find a way. You'll make it work, and we have, right? We have.
Yes.
You will always make it work. I remember in 2024, I was talking to you, right? When I was having a hard time, I sold my car. That time I wasn't sure. I was like, I'm traveling, and I have to make sure that everyone gets paid. So I need extra cash. I have bills coming up, rent. I just need to make sure everything's in order. And that time I was negative every month. I was negative. And I didn't even know at that time why I was negative. I thought something's happening to the economy, clients are leaving, and I didn't know that I was already being screwed over at that time. And because we have no choice, we have to make it work. We have to sit down, refocus, and make it work. And thankfully, we've managed to survive that. It was a tough time, and to deal with things like that, what happened to you. There are things that happen outside of us, and there are things that happen within us. Within us is different, but with our employees or our relationships, and it's very difficult when there are relationships involved, right? Over time, we learn as entrepreneurs to be thick-skinned.
Yes.
We learn to care less. Unfortunately, and that's how you evolve as entrepreneurs. I mean, outside of what's happening in geopolitics, we always talk about people, right? And when we were in EO Accelerator, there were how many things that we work on: cash, strategy, execution, and people. And people is always
It's always
the hardest. People is the most difficult. I feel like you can control everything. You can find a solution to everything. You can pivot for everything except people. Well, you can. Eventually, I learned you can.
You can, but it's still, there's a factor of the things you can. There's still factors
Yes.
that you cannot control. Yeah.
It's very hard to have employees, which is why one of the projects that I'm working on now, and I don't know even if it's a good time to start a business or if it's the wrong time to start a business, but I'm starting an HR consultancy company now.
Congrats.
It's outsourced HR. So we have the business set up with eZone. We have tax and accounting with accountability, and now I'm doing the HR services because I want, like right now, a lot of people are gonna cut down. So having outsourced people or outsourcing the job to another company is actually going to help businesses like us. Unfortunately, like for me, I have to outsource my HR because I feel like my company is not big enough to handle HR in-house and to do it outside. But dealing with the emotions, the changes, or when we're blindsided by employees, it's very hard, right?
It is. It is. Like, because sometimes you think like you're doing really good. Like, like you're thinking like I'm doing my best, like, or I'm like really like giving everything. But it's the way they sometimes interpret it. And then because it's every person is different.
Yes.
To you it's gonna be good and you're gonna be happy with it, but to the other person it's not the same strategy, that the same attitude I give you, it's not enough for the other person.
Yes.
So there's a different approach
For everyone. I guess it's the same as being a parent. You don't approach your kids exactly the same way. But I think it's very important to have gratitude, right? Like wherever we come from. Like for me, I feel like I when I started eZone, I didn't start eZone as soon as I left my job. So I worked in business setup until 2017. And then I started eZone in 2021. So there was a more than 3 years, almost 4 year gap, because I felt like I owed it to the people who fed me and my family and taught me what I know and trusted me, when all I had was the willingness to learn. I had no experience in the UAE, not to compete with them. So I set up 2 restaurants. I did consultancy work, a lot of things before I actually went into business setup. Because by the time I was thinking, I keep getting calls every day about business setup, and I just keep giving them to other people. And I thought, you know what? Maybe it's time.
Yes.
Like to the point that by the time I set up the company, my boss messaged me that it's about time. Congratulations, it's about time.
Correct, yeah.
So it's not always like that, but what I'm trying to say is, when we take on an employee, they don't realize that it's a lot of trust that we're giving them, right? It's trust, it's opportunity, and we treat, like for me at least, I treat them like they're my kids. That's how I see it. Like I want them to have the best insurance that I can afford. I want them to have the best conditions. Like they're all using MacBooks. They all have an iPhone. Like what if I was an employee, what would I want to experience? And that's what I'm giving them. Unfortunately, there will always be people who don't.
not enough.
It's not enough, right? But you know what? Here's the thing that I always tell my employees. It's normal to want more. It's normal to want to grow.
Yes.
Because I too was an employee, and I know that feeling, wanting to grow, but also you have to be aware what are you doing to grow within the business. Like
Yes,
you
yeah.
have to do something to. You cannot expect the business to just give you like a salary increase. What have you done? Like, oh yeah, I've been here for a year, I want an increase, and then the next year I want an increase. It doesn't work that way. Just because you've been there. Like, what have you done? What have you done to improve yourself? What have you contributed to the business? How have you made the business grow, or the department grow, or how have you made your role better? Like, what have you done to actually deserve this? And that's why KPIs are also very important, right? For them to have a basis. But also, I also tell my employees that if you want to leave, always leave on a good note.
On a good note.
You don't
yeah.
have to slam the door when you leave.
Correct. Yeah. So that's what I learned actually when I was an employee, because I learned to be an entrepreneur. So what's an entrepreneur? I said, like, number one, you don't compete with the business of your employer. Like,
Yes.
like my first clients when I finally like built my business, like when I finally quit, were my old companies where I
Really?
used to work. Yes, all 3 companies asked me to shoot for them, and in any way, form, or they became
Yeah.
my customers, my
Yes.
clients. So that's very important, because UAE is very small.
Yes.
That's
The
that's
UAE
what-
is very small.
exactly. So that's one thing that
The business community is small.
yeah, and they'll always remember you for your integrity.
Yes.
So
yeah.
that's very important.
Yeah, it's very important. Don't slam the door when you leave. And you never know, really. You cannot say, oh, you know what? I'm gone from this. I don't need you. I don't need
Yes,
anything from
yeah.
you. I'm done. And then I'll just shit on you.
Mm.
It's not really that. You have to maintain good relationships, because you never know. You
Correct,
just
yeah.
have to respect people. You have to respect, especially if I was talking to my employee earlier, and I was telling her, it's the way I see it. employment is like friendship. It's like a marriage where you've been together for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 20, 30 years. You've had good times, you built together, you grew together. And then you realize one day that, well, this is not working anymore. We're no longer happy. We want to move on.
It's okay.
And
No
it's
hard
okay,
feelings.
right?
Yeah.
No hard feelings. You move on, but it doesn't discount the relationship that you built, right?
Correct.
It doesn't mean that the person is a bad person.
Yes.
You don't leave like with nothing good to say, you know. You leave, and you never know what's gonna happen. Like, we have friends where their marriage is actually annulled, and after how many years
They're
they're
still
back
friends.
together,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
exactly.
you don't
know,
really, like I said, you don't slam the door. You don't end relationships just like that. You just have to always end, whether it's work, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a marriage or a relationship. If it's done, it's done. But it doesn't mean that the person is a bad person,
Exactly. Yeah.
or you will just say bad things about that person, or you'll shit all over everything that you've worked hard for.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just it's their time. This is the time you can work together. There's a time that they have to move on, and you'll be. So I'm always proud whenever we have like my old team members. They get hired by bigger companies.
Yes.
Because I'm so proud, because that means they have grown they have
Yeah.
grown faster than the company's growth.
Yes.
I mean, I would have like dreamed that like one day we can pay you as much.
Yes.
But I'm proud that you're working in this big company.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them also, like one of my ex team members, they moved to another to a bigger company, and they hired us as a subcontractor.
Yes,
So I mean,
yeah.
that's the ideal. That's the
Yes.
ideal scenario. But that's why it's important that you always like work with integrity, work with
Yes.
good relationship, and it's nothing personal.
Nothing
Yeah,
personal.
you have to leave. And
Everyone
then
has
like,
to grow. It's
Exactly,
normal
yeah.
to want to grow. Just
Yeah.
do it right.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And honestly, like, life can be difficult, business can be difficult. You want as many friends as you can have, not enemies left
Yeah,
and right.
yeah.
And also, it's a very very small world.
UAE is a very small world. Yeah.
It's a UAE is small, the world is small, the business community is small, and word really gets around.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
So-
like especially with social media now.
Yeah. I was even thinking the other day, what else can we do as business owners? Like, you and I are in many business communities.
Yes.
We're in the Philippine Business Council. We're in Female Fusion. I used to be in EO Accelerator. You're still there. And there's other
BNI.
female BNI. We're both in BNI. How could I forget BNI? We're both in BNI.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the time where we can go back to our networks, again, speak to
Yes.
people.
Exactly. It's very important to check in with your clients.
Yes.
Not to first check in genuinely, like ask them how they are doing, if they need support. Because for me, business is built on relationships.
Yes.
If you want a really long lasting business, it's built on relationships.
True,
So that's very important. You don't call them for, hi, we have this offer we need. But another thing is, don't be shy in asking for help. A lot of businesses here right now, they're struggling, but they don't feel like they're still too proud to ask for help. And that's what happens. But a lot of people will be keen to, lend a helping hand. You don't feel shy, because this is the time that you should
Yeah.
be relentless, like, would you, if your kids are, like you said, your employees are kids, if your kids are gonna get hungry tomorrow, would you still not ask for help?
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah. Humility actually
Exactly,
is very important
yes.
as an entrepreneur. You should also know when to ask for
Yes,
help. You should also
correct.
know, there's a book, right? It's about knowing when to quit, right? Because quitting doesn't always mean you lost. There are just things that you have to realize. You have to quit for you to make other things work.
Mhm.
And it's
Yeah.
very important as entrepreneurs for us to know
when to
when to quit.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're not quitting.
We're
not
just
quitting
asking
now.
help.
Yeah, we're just saying.
Yes.
So I think like with I was thinking with BNI, this is time now, business is slow. Go back to one to ones.
Yes.
Female Fusion, I've been a member since 2016. I have not actually attended events for a while. My employees usually attend. It's time for me to go back and reconnect.
Yeah.
And sometimes all of these happen so that we can go back to our roots. Actually, one of my colleagues in BNI was telling me, because as entrepreneurs, sometimes we feel, oh, everything's stable. And then something happens again. The rug keeps getting pulled under us, right? Because it's also a way for us to get back into the business. When we feel like we're out of touch already, something happens for us to go back in and get to know our business again more. Because as individuals, we evolve. As a business, the business evolves as well. The culture changes. The whatever happens with with the industry evolves. There's a lot of movement that's happening, right? People change. It's important for us to still go back to the basics, especially as SMEs. At some point, if you're running a multinational company, it's of course another level. You have people to do that for you. But being business owners right now as SMEs, it starts and it ends with us, right?
Yes,
We're
yes.
ultimately responsible for everything.
We're responsible, but it's important to recognize that a team plays. But like you said, sometimes if you're a big company also, it's important also that I believe so much in founder-led content. And I believe that, like a lot of things rely on the founder. Like, because you cannot sell better. No one can sell better than the founder.
Yes.
And
That's become my problem, because I came to a point where I was so busy and I get at least 5 referrals a day. Not this week, not this month, but on a normal day. And I always introduce them immediately to my employees, and not a lot of them close. So I feel like this is a reminder for me to get back to basics and just really
going back to basics is
go back to
important.
basics. That's actually our theme in
Yeah.
BNI for this term, back to basics.
Back to basics.
Oh, actually,
Important,
last
exactly.
term, back to basics.
Because now we're back to
Yeah.
basics.
Now we're back to basics,
Like
right?
we have to.
But I wanted to ask you about your content, because you did such a good job and people know you in the market because your content is really good. When did you start? You started last year, right? Was it
It's actually late 2024.
late 2024? Tell me about your journey and your mindset, because you're very open. You're very open, you're very authentic. And for me, it's a struggle. Even this, what we're doing now, for me, is a struggle. I have been wanting to do something like this for many years now. I have been wanting to talk about entrepreneurship and the realities of entrepreneurship. Because when we go online, we see the glitz and the glamour of an entrepreneur. But people hardly talk about how difficult it is. When you go crazy, or at month end, last week of the month, when you have to look at payroll, or when you have to pay all your bills and make sure everything's okay, everyone's okay. When something happens like this, all the geopolitical situation where you cannot really control things, it's not easy. And this is actually why I started this podcast, because I wanted to talk about the difficulties, not everything good, positive. You know what? I made this, I bought this, I'm in this, I was featured here. I just want to talk about the reality, the things that hurt us, how we overcome them, the things that bother us, and how we go through them, right?
Correct,
So
yeah.
what you did with your personal branding, it was
Yes.
actually very brave.
Oh, thank you.
Very brave, and you are very consistent.
Actually,
You're
I've
very, very
stopped a bit.
consistent. No, you stopped?
I mean, like the later part of last year. So I actually started early 2024. So I remember because I said, like, you know what? I'll be my own case study.
Yeah.
I was looking at like Elon Musk, Gary Vaynerchuk, and all the Alex Hormozy, and I said, like, you know what? They're very consistent in producing content. What
Yeah.
will that work for me? Will this model work for me? So I said, like, you know what? I'll choose a platform. I chose LinkedIn. And I said, like, I'll post consistently. I'll not only post, but because I've also Jasmine, Alec, and there's this Lara Acosta. Those are LinkedIn leaders also. I said, like, you know what? This is what they do. They comment, they post, they engage. So I said, like, what if I did this, and like I'll try to do it minimum this number of times in a week. What will happen? So I started producing videos. I said, like, let's make a mix of videos and then post and then comment. Let's like engage. So when I did that, it's like my LinkedIn it went up to 2,300 something percent.
Wow.
So, and then from hundreds, I went to now I have 5,000, but it's like, it's not as big as, the others, but it's all organic. I did not put ads out, and I did not,
Yes.
and then we had like several clients who were really like, I like, and I get it a lot. And I walk into networking events, they already know me. I
Yes.
saw your LinkedIn post,
Yes.
and I know you, and I'm like, number one is it worked. So I was my own case study. Although last year, because like I said, we had like a little bit of an issue, did not become as consistent as I used to be. But like I said, the formula worked. And so I know, and then so now if I want to go back to go posting, and I want to go back to like showing up, I actually went to Female Fusion, and they said like, yeah, you did disappear. Where did you go? And I'm like, yeah, like, you know what? This is what happened.
I feel like I always have something to share, something I want to share, something I want to say, but I always hesitate because I feel it's very personal. And then I'm really scared of being bashed.
Yeah, so this is the same with I did a talk last year about this, and I said like, you know what, this is the fear of a lot of women. It's actually women who fears this a lot. It's very rare for men to feel this. You know, if they want to show up, they will show up. You know, who cares about what?
Yeah.
It's actually women who feels this way. And I said like, just think of one person. If you are gonna help one person with your experience, with your authentic story, and it's not about also faking it. You know, a lot of people say like, you know, just fake it. You know, don't talk too much about, you know, like your experience, your negative experience. But I said like, you know what? I said like, if you feel that your experience is gonna help someone, just one person. Think of one person. Go for it. You know, people will. You don't post who are you helping. People will always say something about, you know,
Have
negative
you
about
experienced bashing?
yeah, yes. I had like a one post, and then they said like, I really did not find anything valuable with what you said.
Is it on LinkedIn?
This one is on YouTube, and I said like, okay, then it's okay. I had like 7 likes already, so your one comment that I had like 7 likes. So people like my
Did
post.
you respond?
I deleted her comments. I said like, number one, you just have to ignore, you know, like you have to develop a thick skin. And then also on LinkedIn, one time there was this guy who said like, you know, I posted about one of my team members. It was that I had to like help because they went through a difficult time. So I posted about it that you have to help. You have to understand your team members, and then someone commented like, was it a comment or is it do you really have to post that on LinkedIn that you help someone?
On LinkedIn, huh?
Yeah, that was on LinkedIn.
So
And
what
it
did
was
you
a
do?
fellow Filipino. And I'm like, so I said like, you know what? I said like, thank you so much for your comment. But yes, I do believe that you can share. It's not about bragging. If you think that's bragging, you should inspect yourself.
Yeah, you should look into yourself.
Yeah. Look into why you're thinking that way. So it's not my fault. If you think it's negative, because a lot of people actually found it inspiring.
So how did it help your business though? Being this visible online and being consistent, how did it help your business?
Well, I had a lot of, number one is the visibility. Of course, then visibility, this is what BNI taught us. First visibility, then credibility, then profitability. So then I was able to,
VCP.
yes, VCP. So then I was able to be visible. But then I was like, you have to then also develop the credibility. Like then that is another, which I said like it lacked. So that time it lacked the C. I mean, like, of course we're credible, but then if you're just posting and then you're getting attention, but where do you funnel their attention to? You funnel their attention to your business, you know, but you should also be more of like credibility. So then how do you build credibility? So now I said, this is a strategy we're forming, is that we're creating a lot of case study videos.
Okay.
So I said like, okay, they see me, they see you, they like your post, but where do they go after? So then you have to then funnel their attention to your business. So then we're creating a lot of case studies. Then this is like, so that's how it should not only be like visible posts, like people will like it.
But
it's
it
nice.
also brought about the social media part of your business, right? Because you used to do photo and video,
Mhm.
and because of you posting, people were coming to you saying, "Hey, can you do the same for me?"
Yes.
And
yeah,
then you
yes.
opened a new department in your business.
we
for
we
this.
used to have social media
Okay.
already, but our first personal branding clients came only a year last year.
After
so
they
like,
saw you.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, they said like, what are you doing? I want to also show up. Although there's still a lot of like, they still do not believe in themselves. There's
Yeah.
still a lot of mindset that needs to be fixed
Yeah.
before. So I said, like, we're only tools. We can only do the execution part, but you have to first fix the mindset
Yeah.
part, because before that we can only create videos when you really believe in what you're doing.
I haven't watched a single video of me.
Why?
Yeah. And I haven't listened, unfortunately, to any episodes because I'm very critical. I'm doing this because I believe in like telling the story, and I believe in talking about the struggles. Because like I said, when I was struggling in 2024, what really helped me were people like you who went through the same struggles or similar struggles, and your stories of how you overcame them. So I wanted to tell a story of, I wanted to be able to share the stories and tell my story of how I overcame them. Of course, mine is still ongoing. I've overcome it to the point that, okay, I've rebuilt, yes, but I still have that battle of the legal battles that I'm still going through now. And it's not easy. None of it is easy, right? But yeah, being visible, back to being, I digress. So back to being visible. Um, it's a struggle because right now it's more of what people see, right? But and I ask you this question, I'm gonna ask it now because we weren't able to finish our story. How do you distinguish from being authentic, okay, and being and posting something authentic and posting something that people don't like or people will not like? Like how do you make a decision when you post?
When you post, don't think of when I post, okay, when I post, I don't think of like, will people like this? I will say like, will people find value in this? That's what I said. Like, if it doesn't really like, if you don't like it, then it's not for you. So,
Okay.
but then if it's either you entertain, sometimes I post for the entertainment of
Yes.
it. Like I found it funny. Sometimes I post because I think that this will help someone,
Yeah.
and I don't care if you don't like it or not. Like, or if I will only get 3 likes. For me, I really, really believe in authenticity because people can read through you.
Yes.
That's one thing. People can read through you. Don't underestimate how people can read. People now know it's an AI. I tried AI. I did then I realized they don't work.
In what sense?
So I first, when I was starting on LinkedIn, I said like, right. So I said like, I'm going to go on LinkedIn. I'm going to post, and then I said like, let me be intellectual. People might find me smart if I post really intellectual like comments and but then it did not sound me.
Yes.
And then people did not like it. People read through like I know, and I cringe when I read it. Same with my videos. Like I first before like I have videos before that I deleted on YouTube because I said like it's not authentic. Like I cringe when I watch it. So then I kept the videos that made me smile when I watch them. So like now,
So do you watch all your
yeah,
videos?
yeah. And and some of them makes me really smile because like I started shooting videos for YouTube since in 2017. Then I stopped, and then I started again. And then those videos, when I watch myself, I like it. It made me smile. Like if it makes you smile, that means like you did a great job.
Okay. Let me think about it. Jack, who's actually editing my videos and uploading my podcast, he told me that I should do 3 things. I should listen to, and I hope it's correct. Is it 3 or 4 things? He will correct me. First, I should listen without what I 4 things, right, Jack? 4 things. Now I remember. First, I should listen without looking at the video, and then I should watch it without listening, and then I should transcribe it to see if I actually make sense, and then I should watch it like with the sound and the visuals. And it's so difficult. I can't do it.
Why?
Because I'm so critical, so critical. Like I want everything to be perfect. And if I see something wrong, which I'm sure I will, because I'm very critical of myself at least, then I won't continue doing what I'm doing. And like I said, this has been like, I've been planning to do this for how many years? And finally, last year, I made the decision to do it. I started shooting in March. And I only approved my first video, which I shot in March. In what month was it? September? October? October. the year was gonna end. So it's
You
not.
shot it in March and you approved it in October.
Yeah, because I was so critical. And when I approved it, I didn't watch it because I said, look, if I watch it, I would say I want to do it again and I want to do it again. So you know what? I'll just do whatever I'm doing. I'll just post it and then that's it. I'm also struggling with if I check it, I will just struggle with being authentic. So I thought, you know what? Forget it. I'll just I'll just post it and I'll just do what
Yeah.
I'm doing. But anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your space with us.
Welcome.
You want to talk about like what you're doing and the space and Olivia, just
That's a lot.
yeah.
Okay.
Just in case we have listeners who can benefit from your services.
Yeah, okay. So we are originally wedding specialists. We call ourselves storytellers because that's what we prioritize. We love telling cinematic documentary films, whether it's an event, whether it's a wedding, whether it's a brand. We feel that every event, every brand, every business has a story and can be told using photos and videos, and that's what sets us apart. So we've started with photography and video. Now we have photo books. We print in house all our fine art photo books. So we do that. We have a company called Everlast Prints. The company, the video photography production is called the MelRish Studio. It's the combination of me and my husband's name. Cheesy, but we're stuck with it. Mel, me, and Rish. So it's MelRish Studio. And then last year I just opened. Now it's gonna turn 2 in June. And you are
Yes.
doing the PR services. So thank you so much for helping me open that business. It's Olivia Pearls. So Olivia Pearls is also again based on stories, but I said using pearls to tell the story of women, and that for me is very important because I said like, I think life is a journey, and then our legacy as people is told through stories that we leave behind.
True.
So what is your life story? What is the story you're gonna leave behind? And that for me is that's the legacy. I that's my contribution. That's our contribution. Like
So I'm wearing Melrish now.
yes, yes. Thank you so
Yes.
much for the support. Yeah, so that's my legacy. So I said like, the photos and the videos we leave behind, it's always something that the couples, the companies will treasure and the brands will treasure. It will help them, and I believe in always authenticity. That's one of the driving force that helps us tell the story. And of course, the pearls. It's always I said like the pearls is a legacy. It's the only gemstone from a living thing, and it's not. Pearls come in different shapes and sizes. It tells a woman's story. It comes from an irritation, and that irritation became a gemstone, and that's why our stories, our challenges, the one we just talked about, is they turn into something precious because help like they can help someone. The stories can inspire someone.
Yes, and I love pearls actually, especially South Sea pearls, right? They're really very beautiful.
Yes.
And you're right, they come in different shapes and sizes, just like women.
Mhm.
And it doesn't make them less beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
the
just that
imperfections, they don't
beauty
make
is
them-
in the eye of the beholder.
Correct.
And it's who appreciates the beauty. Okay, I wanted to ask you one thing. Do you agree that entrepreneurship is not for everyone?
Totally agree.
And
Yes. Should I tell a story about it? A
yeah,
quick
no,
one.
okay,
So
why is
I-
entrepreneurship not for everyone?
very quick one. Had a friend. She asked me like she wants to quit and focus on her business. She wanted to open a bakery. I told her like so entrepreneurship. I gave her the talk like entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It takes a lot of grit. It takes a lot of mistakes and trials, and you have to have thick skin. And then she said like can you do it? And she said yeah, okay, but then she's now back in corporate world because entrepreneurship, if you see an entrepreneur, you see a lot of people see the glitz, they have their own business. It's like a prestige, but it's an iceberg. You don't see what's underneath. It takes a lot of we failed a million times. We cried a million times. We have been bashed a million times. We have been betrayed a million times, and we failed like miserably. And then we had sleepless nights. We had we lost a lot of money. If you're just going for the entrepreneur, if you want to be an entrepreneur because you just want the top of the iceberg, you see that and you just want that, don't go for it. But if you're willing to, if you know the trade-offs and you're willing to still go for entrepreneurship with all the trade-offs, then go for it.
It's not easy until you've actually lived it.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to say, yeah, I can handle it.
Yeah.
But actually living the life of an entrepreneur is not easy. I want to ask you this because I've experienced it many times myself. Have you ever been, like, how many times during your journey have you thought, you know what, why don't I just go back to corporate and maybe it'll be more stable?
I was at that stage last year. I said like, oh, look at that. I have I can quickly apply on LinkedIn. This job is meant for me. Number one, it's a big firm and it's a creative marketing head. And I'm like,
it's gonna be easy for you.
yeah. So I said like, it's the head of content, because I read through what the job requires. It's content, thinking of campaigns, and then these are all my experiences previously, running a team of creatives. And I'm like I can, and then the salary was like way more than I'm getting right now. And I'm like, you know what, goodbye MelRish. But then I said like, you know what, I cannot leave my team behind.
Yeah. Every now and then, well, not recently, but during the time when it was difficult for me, I was really thinking like, maybe this isn't for me. And I know that a lot of entrepreneurs have the same feeling every now and then. But yeah, we're still here. We're still here, standing strong, working things out. So thank you for your time.
Thank
you for your space as well, the beautiful space.
Thank you.
So all the best to us, all the best to the world.
Yes. Hopefully this is over soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Melon, thank you for sharing your perspective today. What I appreciate about conversations like this is that they remind us that entrepreneurship is rarely the simple story people see from the outside. Behind every business are decisions, risks, lessons, and moments where people have to choose whether they will continue or walk away. And sometimes the businesses that last are not the ones that started with a perfect plan. They are the ones built by people who choose to keep going even when the path becomes uncertain. Thank you for joining us on Entrepreneurship is Not for Everyone. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who is building something of their own. Because while the journey can feel lonely at times, the truth is that many people are navigating the same challenges and learning the same lessons along the way. Until the next episode.